Long before the first cities rose from the dust, a shadow fell across the cradle of humanity, not from a gathering storm, but from a calculated invasion of the kingdom itself. This was the beginning of the Seed War, a cosmic struggle that reshaped our world and our very bloodlines. The biblical text suggests we were never the only family God intended to have. In the heavens, there was an assembly, a divine council of beings known as Elohim. Some researchers describe Elohim as a broad term for beings of the spiritual realm, much as earthling describes someone from earth. Among them sat an official known as the Satan, a title that in the Old Testament functioned as a job description. The cosmic prosecutor or intelligence officer whose role was to test the loyalty of God's subjects. But some of these staff members went rogue. In the days of Noah, the sons of God crossed a divine firewall, entering the human realm to take wives for themselves. This wasn't merely a lapse in judgment, it was a preemptive military strike. After a prophecy in the garden promised that a human seed would eventually crush the serpent's head, the enemy launched a family infiltration. By mingling spiritual DNA with human DNA, they hoped to sabotage the human genome so that a pure, uncorrupted Messiah could never be born. The result was the Nephilim, mighty hybrids that ancient traditions, such as the Book of Enoch, claim first appeared at the base of Mount Hermon. In the Seed War interpretation, this contamination reveals another possible purpose behind the flood. It was more than a judgment on human behavior, it was a genetic quarantine. When the text describes Noah as perfect, it uses the Hebrew word tamim, the same word used for a sacrificial lamb without physical blemish. This suggests to many that Noah's lineage remained uncorrupted by the Watchers, making the flood a desperate hard reset to preserve the last pure human stock and keep the ancient promise of a Savior alive. While the physical bodies of the giants drowned, their origins left a haunting legacy. The biblical text says the rebellious angels were cast into a prison called Tartarus, a term connected with ancient legends of the fallen titans. But their hybrid children had no place in heaven or the natural order of the earth. Ancient Jewish theology suggests these disembodied spirits became the demons of the Gospels, the bastards of history, roaming the earth as homeless spirits, forever seeking a body to inhabit because they lost their own in the flood. The war shifted again at a place called Babel. While common stories focus on a tall tower, ancient manuscripts like the Dead Sea Scrolls preserve a reading that says the nations were divided according to the number of the sons of God. From this comes the idea that Babel was more than a scattering. It was a cosmic divorce decree. God disinherited the nations, handing their management over to members of his divine council. But the managers became the masters. They accepted worship for themselves, becoming the gods of Egypt, Babylon, and Greece, committing identity theft on a cosmic scale. For centuries, the world lived under this dark occupation until the true heir arrived to reclaim his father's estate. In this interpretation, Jesus began his final campaign in the region of Caesarea Philippi, at the base of Mount Hermon. Standing on what was essentially the enemy's front porch, he declared that his kingdom would storm the very gates of hell. Shortly after, a high mountain in that region became the site of the Transfiguration, a moment many view as a formal declaration of war to the spirit realm, where the Father introduced his loyal Son to the rebel council. The final legal blow in this reclamation project occurred at Pentecost. In the list of nations gathered in Jerusalem that day, we see many of the regions traditionally connected with the scattered nations. As the Spirit fell, the message to the spiritual powers was clear. The divorce was over. Through a single message spoken in many tongues, The Father was reclaiming his children from every corner of the earth. In this interpretation, the legal victory had been declared, and the Great Commission served as a deportation order for the old gods. Yet we look at a world still fractured by ancient divisions and shadows that seem to have a life of their own. It leaves us to wonder, were these ancient powers truly removed? Or is the seed war still unfolding in the quiet corners of our own age?